A recent statement from President Donald Trump has drawn significant attention across political and media circles. The remarks involved a case where an individual was killed by someone who had been previously detained by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. Public records show the president made comments about the victim during a discussion about immigration enforcement policy. The statement has prompted reactions from various groups, including victim advocacy organizations and political commentators. Today, we're taking a closer look at what was said, the context surrounding the case, and why this story has become part of the broader national conversation about immigration policy. Background. According to official reports, the case involves a woman who was killed by an individual who had prior encounters with immigration enforcement authorities. Details from law enforcement documents indicate the suspect had been detained by ICE at an earlier point, but was subsequently released. The circumstances of that release and whether proper protocols were followed have become points of discussion among policymakers and law enforcement analysts. Cases involving crimes committed by individuals with immigration enforcement histories often become focal points in debates about border security, detention policies, and public safety measures. These discussions typically involve questions about how enforcement agencies make decisions regarding detention and release, as well as how local and federal authorities coordinate on such matters. Recent developments. During a public appearance, President Trump referenced this particular case while discussing his administration's approach to immigration enforcement. According to transcripts and video footage available from the event, the president made a comment about the victim that critics have characterized as insensitive. Multiple news outlets reported on the remark, and clips of the statement circulated widely on social media platforms. Reports indicate that the comment was made in the context of emphasizing the administration's stance on stricter immigration enforcement measures. White House officials, when asked for clarification, have pointed to the president's overall message about public safety and border security rather than addressing the specific wording used. What sources are saying. Advocacy groups focused on victims' rights have issued statements expressing concern about the language used when discussing individuals who have lost their lives to violence. According to their public comments, these organizations emphasize the importance of treating all victims with dignity, regardless of the political context surrounding their cases. Immigration policy analysts from various research organizations have noted that cases like this often become symbolic in broader policy debates. Some policy experts observe that while individual cases can highlight systemic issues, they also risk oversimplifying complex questions about immigration enforcement, judicial processes, and public safety coordination. Political observers from across the spectrum have weighed in with different perspectives. Some commentators have defended the president's remarks as part of his consistent messaging on immigration enforcement priorities. Others have criticized the tone and content of the statement, arguing that victims of crime deserve respectful treatment in public discourse regardless of who the perpetrator was. Legal experts have also provided context about ICE detention and release procedures. According to immigration law specialists, decisions about whether to detain or release individuals involve multiple factors, including legal requirements, court orders, and resource constraints. These experts note that the system involves coordination between federal agencies, local law enforcement, and the judicial system. Why this matters? This story connects to several ongoing national conversations. First, it touches on how political leaders discuss victims of crime, particularly when those cases intersect with policy debates. Communication experts note that the way public figures reference real people and real tragedies can influence public discourse and affect families who are grieving. Second, the incident highlights the continued prominence of immigration policy in the national political landscape. According to polling data from multiple research organizations, immigration remains among the top issues that Americans identify as important. How political leaders frame specific cases can shape public understanding of broader policy questions. Third, this situation raises questions about the intersection of individual tragedies and political messaging. Media analysts observe that when specific cases become part of political rhetoric, there can be tension between policy advocacy and respectful acknowledgement of human loss. Broader context. Immigration enforcement policy has been a signature issue throughout President Trump's political career. Dating back to his first presidential campaign, official administration statements consistently emphasize stricter enforcement measures, increased detention capacity, and enhanced coordination between federal and local authorities. Various stakeholder groups continue to present different perspectives on these policies. Law enforcement organizations have diverse views on how immigration enforcement should be prioritized and implemented. Civil liberties groups raise concerns about due process and treatment of individuals in the immigration system. Border security advocates emphasize public safety, considerations, and the need for consistent enforcement of immigration laws. Closing. As this story develops, it serves as a reminder of how individual cases can become part of larger policy conversations. The facts of what happened, the words that were used, and the reactions from various groups all contribute to ongoing national discussions about immigration policy, political communication, and how we talk about victims of crime. These are complex issues that affect communities across the country, and they involve legitimate concerns from multiple perspectives. As always, verified information from official sources and responsible reporting remain essential for understanding these important topics.